and love. That's the way we ought to live. Oh yes. We no longer have respect for each other. We are influenced by foreign culture. And what we see on internet and the TV, no become a part of our
WEFM, the new fresh sound. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And good morning to everybody. Official good morning and welcome to the Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. And the time we're in SVG, it is 7:45. And that means it is time for us to hear from Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas. Kingsley, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. You sound kind of happy this morning. What is the response for that?
I am happy. Listen, Kingsley, I am so drained that I am ready to go home. I am so drained this morning. Yeah, I fight in the good fight though.
Yeah, but I just want to ask something though. The glass bottle policy, is it in effect?
Yeah, I think it's always in effect for shows. I don't think it's just for Carnival, but for all shows.
Because I was at a particular spot yesterday, a familiar spot, and I noticed that the bartender was selling some drinks and not pouring the drinks into glass, because what I had was a tonic water, but I think that this thing had to pour the drink into glass. And then she said to me, "Oh, you always worried about these things for us." I say, but it's a policy that they put in place to guide us in the event of something breakout. She said that it's not for the rural areas, it's just for the immediate suburbs for Kingston in Canada. Do you really believe that it's true, or it's across the board?
It's across the board. It's across the board.
So what do you think that we should do when we go to a bar to buy a drink? Insist that the person pouring the drink, or just don't go to the support that particular bar?
Well, number one, I suppose the messaging needs to get out to all individuals because it sounds like that person isn't aware. Number two, I would, because you are in a position where you know better, then you should tell them to pour it in a glass. I wouldn't tell you not to support them, but tell them to pour it in a glass.
But here's something. Last week, right, before the no glass policy came in, she said, I went to that same particular bar and asked if she knows. So she said, yes, she knows. So when I got there and she didn't pour the drink, I was a bit upset, but I get my frustration within everything. But I am just showing you how irresponsible people could be when you know that their policies should be implemented. And so as you said, if you listen and you don't take the post or comply, you don't have to necessarily support it or change your mind. But you know, some people when they drinking, they just drinking, and so you have some people in service and again is when they drinking beers, they want you to leave all the beers back on the counter because they want to make an impression so the people come in where we're having a great time. But let's hope that people apply the policy across the board, because it's important that we face it, because a battle could be a dangerous missile, and we have to try to see from an individual standpoint it could be with the issue of violence in Canada. That would be my take until tomorrow morning, and I'll have a wonderful day, okay?
All right, you too, Kingsley. Thanks. All right, so yes, we are here with you, Dianna, Cain, and myself, Roleza Samuel, for a Monday morning, the 30th of June, end the month. And you know, traffic in town going to be tight, right? Tight, not just because it's month end, but also because we have a lot of visitors to our islands. All right, so welcome home to everybody who has returned to SVG, sweet SVG, and we trust that your stay here will be an enjoyable one. So good morning to you, Dianna, and how are you?
Good morning, Roleza. Good morning, everyone. Like you, I am feeling battered.
So both of we battered and bruised?
Yeah. Yesterday they had airport activation again. So I was out there. Yes, it was just a whole day of doing work. So I feel like something, I don't want to claim anything, but I probably have to go to the sea and take a soak and sap out my head because I feel something that I don't think I want to deal with at this moment. And
if you have that, it means that I could possibly get it and I can't deal with it right now. Okay, so go take your sap your head, sap wherever you need to sap. Just please go sap. All right, well, I was inside for all of the weekend, but most of my work is always inside. But it's just when the hours flow on into the next, and it's just right. But as I tell people, I'd rather be busy than bored and broke. All right, I don't do boredom very well, and I don't do being broke very well. Okay. All right, so how was your weekend, everybody? For those of you who are here, what were you up to? Were you outside? Were you inside? What were you up to? I noticed that there are persons, but one person indicated that even though they weren't here, they looked at the Evening with the Legends event last night. So they finished at minutes to 2, right? So I think later on in the day, we would hear the results of that event in terms of who's making it to the final rounds for the Calypso show. All right. And I see somebody there saying that the no bottle policy is for carnival shows, but it's as if I think that whenever there are activities, like even outside of carnival, that the no bottle policy is also in effect.
Yeah,
that's what it is that I know. So, yeah. Jeff, no, we didn't go to Kiddies Carnival. I looked at Kiddies Carnival, but I did not go to Kiddies Carnival. All right, so let's any preliminary thing you want to touch on? All right, so let's just deal with a few things that Kingsley brought up. So Kingsley was talking about the no bottle policy, and that he was being served by somebody who knows better, but they were not doing better. And I do think that the onus is on many of us that once we know, then we are supposed to impart that information to them. In the event that they don't know and they still insist, then for me, yes, I probably would not support them, right? But that's only if they insist on doing the wrong thing. For me, the no bottle policy shouldn't even just be for carnival, because and for shows and events, because even at funerals, we have seen instances where fights break out at funerals and people throw bottles at other individuals, or a bottle has fallen, glass breaks, and they use that as a weapon against somebody else. So I do tend to think that whenever there are gatherings in general, whether it is for a funeral, whether it is for a show or whatever the case might be, that the no bottle policy should be in effect. Because, for many of us, the first thing that reaches our hand is what we're going to throw, or we're going to use as a weapon, or even to try to defend ourselves. All right. So for me to safeguard all of that, maybe a general policy needs to be put in place for whenever there are gatherings, public gatherings, I should say, that the no bottle policy should be in effect. All right.
But if we look at it from a safety point of view, then I don't think that bartenders should react in that way, because you understand that that policy is in place to protect people. So you should be thinking about that part and not feel like if having to pour out something from a glass bottle is a burden to you. You should be feeling good that you're at least helping people to be safe. You're not contributing to putting a weapon out there.
Yeah, but you're thinking that people are thinking like you, which is why we have so many problems in society. Because while it is that we know the consequences of not doing the right thing, there are many persons who just don't care. At the end of it, they're just looking to make their money and be done with it. Yeah. And I've heard as well that there are some persons who do not like to have drinks poured into glass because it causes the drink to taste differently. Well, I personally won't know, because I don't consume beer and alcohol in that sense. But I mean, the thing of it is that there is a reason why it's in place, and it's just for all of us to work together. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Queens.
Many years ago, I was at this club, and this guy, he left and went to the bathroom. When he come back, he see a man whining on his woman. and he bust a Heineken bottle in the guy's face, man. Blood on the dance floor. That was the end of the show for the night.
And you see,
Yeah, so
and that is another thing. Once fighting break out, party done, right? So it's all these other things.
I've been at Heritage Square a couple of times in the past and battle thrown. So from that time, I see that if I go Heritage Square, I stay far away from the heart of the crowd. Stay far away from that.
But Queens, when Buster pelting, it's reaching anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Anywhere. People have died at Heritage Square already, you know.
But not from Buster
People have
pelting,
died
though.
there, I think.
I don't think it's
I think different stuff.
Right?
Different stuff. Police shoot a guy there already too. From different stuff.
Right. I think I remember
From stabbing or whatever.
Right.
Stabbing. Yeah.
All righty. So we're seeing you this
All right.
carnival season, Queens. Me know you like to be outside, you know. Oh, he gone. All right. So yeah, that's it with regards to the conversation of the no bottle policy at events. All right. So we know better. And I mean, the other thing too is like, you know, we don't want for parties to end up shutting down. You already paid your money.
Yep.
You don't put in your effort, especially for ladies to look really nice. And, you know, just for a woman to go to an event might cost about $1,000, right? Just her walking into that event is about like $1,000, if not more. All right. So we don't want for these things to be happening where, you know, you go in there to socialize, to enjoy, to have a good time, to free up your spirits. You don't want to have to deal with ignorant persons acting unruly and cause a session to close down. All right. So it's for all of us to come together and work together. All right. So just to talk on another topic, it was mentioned in this morning's traffic talk, where Sergeant King indicated that there were 14 accidents. And when I heard 14, I was like, what?
Yeah.
14 accidents over the weekend. And there was actually a road fatality in one of these incidents. There is something that he said that is interesting that I want for us to let it soak in. He says your fast drive may be your last drive. And again, I think way too many persons use the spirit or the season of happiness or being able to free up, and on the roads they lose all sense of control, and all common sense literally seems to go out the window. All right, persons think that driving fast is a test of your driving skills. Listen, we don't have significant long stretches of road here in SVG. All right, so if you want to press out, you press out. We have a lot of corners, and even in pressing out, you also have to be careful, because what also causes a lot of these accidents is overconfidence. All right. And if you are overconfident on the road, chances are there is a stronger possibility of you getting into an accident. I know that during the carnival season, even for sometimes people like me, I don't always want to leave home because I just not anymore to have to think for two persons. Right. When you're driving, you have to consider not only your actions, but the other possible actions of someone else, right? You're going around a corner, you had to try to remember to stay on your hand, because you never know when you're going to meet that person who is driving off of their hand, right? And it's all these little things. I noticed that a friend of mine in a post on Friday, he was like, you see all these people who carrying on while on the roads, it's time for me to go home. And when you have to think about people who are saying, okay, well, I don't want to lime anymore because of the actions of somebody irresponsibly driving on the road, then what does that also mean for the lineman culture, right? So we have to put a lot of thought into this thing. We have to, there's a song that says, enjoy your mask because you never know when it will be your last. No, you don't want to contribute to this carnival season being your last carnival season. All right. So just use sense. That's all. Just use sense.
They probably need to download some more Bluetooth. I said they probably need to download some of that, because I don't know what's going on, because you hear this, you're hearing this message all the time, and you would think that when persons getting into all these accidents, people dying in accidents, would cause drivers to say, boy, let me act right. But unfortunately, it's not. So at this point, I don't know what it is that people can do, the policymakers, the lawmakers. I don't know what it is you guys can do.
I think one of the other things too is that friends need to hold each other accountable, right? You going out and you're saying, let's say a friend has been consuming too much alcohol. Then you listen, one like me, I will pull that glass away, or I pull that bottle away, or whatever it is. Well, there's no bottle policy. So I pull the glass away, all right, and throw it away. And I mean, yes, it might come across as me being vicious, but there are times when people just don't recognize their limits, their own limits. Especially if you're already intoxicated, you're not going to recognize the limits. It makes no sense you driving when you're sleepy and you're driving when you realize that your coordination is off, right? To me, I would prefer if, let's say you decide to maybe, well, I want to say sleep in your vehicle, right? But I know that is also a little bit of a tricky situation because you can be inviting yourself for robbery if somebody happens to see you. But, maybe call a friend in your drunken state and say, I'm not dealing with this very well. I'm a little bit intoxicated. Could you come and get me? All right.
Or sleep by the venue.
Sleep by the venue. Put somebody on speed dial, something.
Or on the stage and sleep.
Do something, or sleep when the presence where you see police are, or where people going to be passing, do something. But to get into a vehicle when you are tired or when you are drunk, it's not just your life that you're going to be affecting. You are going to be affecting the life of other persons. And remember, these people also have families. The individual whose death you may cause, that individual could probably be the breadwinner for their family. So who else is going to be impacted and affected by your one action? So we had to stop and think. All right. I think maybe whole morning. That's just my mantra. Stop and think. Okay. And with that, we are heading on out of this segment. The time here in SVG, it is 8:01, and our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death